www. Who would have thought those three little letters could have caused so many problems? Hey everybody, this is Chad again from the home office, and I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the security issues that some of you are seeing with your new DBWS sites. And to explain kind of why this is happening, I wanted to take us back a little bit and talk about some of the changes that we've made from the old DBWS to the new DBWS and why this issue is coming up now. So previously, we were using an older standard for displaying your DBWS sites, and now we're using a much more modern, secure standard to ensure that you and your customers have the best web experience. So you'll notice on Stacy Stamper's website here, there's a little lock in the top corner. And what that little lock tells users, if we click on this on my Mac here, your Windows computers may show this a little bit differently, but when we click on the little lock, it says that Safari is using an encrypted connection to stacystamper.stampinup.net. Encryption with a digital certificate keeps information private as it's sent to or from the HTTPS website. So in other words, we are using a much more secure method for sending and receiving information on the web. And so this is a good thing for you and a good thing for your customers. So why then does www in front of the website cause so many problems? Well, let me kind of just show you what that looks like. So when you put www in front of stacystamper.stampinup.net, we're now getting the error that the connection is not private. It's saying that it might be impersonating this other website, and it warns users to maybe leave without progressing to the website. So I want to kind of explain how this works so that you understand why it's important for us to remedy this situation, and then I'm going to give you a few steps that you can do to help us fix this problem, because this is actually not a Stampin' Up problem. This is just kind of an issue with the World Wide Web. So we do need your help a little bit on this one, and it involves going through and fixing maybe some of the links that you have that point to your DBWS and helping your customers and users understand how to find your DBWS in the most secure way. So I want to show you really quick this little folder that I've got pulled up here. And this kind of mimics the internet, if you will. You can see we're on the internet, and when somebody requests a DBWS website, believe it or not, it's just like a bunch of folders. So the internet knows that it needs to look in stampinup.net, and so when you open up stampinup.net, you're going to see all of the different websites that we have registered for every DBWS user out there. Some of these names might even look familiar to you, but the website that we're looking for is Stacy Stamper's website. So the web browser tells the internet we need stampinup.net, and specifically we need stacystamper.stampinup.net. And when we open that folder, we see all of Stacy's files. So that's why when somebody visits your website, they see your content and not somebody else's. Now, one thing that you'll notice is in this folder for stampinup.net, there is no www folder. So in other words, when we request www.stacystamper.stampinup.net, we're basically telling the internet, hey, go to stampinup.net, look for www. And then open that folder and then look for Stacy Stamper. Since www. Doesn't exist, that's why you're getting the web error, because it's saying, hey, somebody might actually be using this additional layer to mimic the content that you're actually looking for. So it's really just as simple as getting rid of the www. Now, I know that that sounds like something maybe Stampin' Up should just be able to do. Well, why can't when somebody comes in say, hey, just get rid of the www? Because there are so many variables in play. I mean, we have all of the different websites that are created for StampinUp.com. Plus, because this is a replicated web service and demonstrators can add or edit their site address at any time, it would be really difficult, almost impossible, to keep up with the infinite number of variables that you have at your fingertips to personalize your DBWS URL. So with that, helping your helping your customers find your website, it requires just a couple of really easy steps. Number one, go through and make sure any links that you have to your DBWS don't have www in the URL. By taking the www out, if I simply just don't send that over and hit enter, oh, of course, because it's already loaded in the other screen. Sorry, everybody. I'm going to close this here. You'll see that stacystamper.stampinup.net without the www loads Stacy Stamper's website. Now, we know that some of your customers may have bookmarks. They may also have your DBWS saved in their browser history. So, if they're looking for Stacy Stamper, they type the letter S and her website just pops up. All we need to have your customers do is just click into the browser bar before they hit enter, remove that www, and they'll be taken to your website without any issues. It's really quite simple, and yeah, we do need your help on it. I know that's a little bit frustrating and probably not the answer that you want to hear, but again, we're playing kind of by the World Wide Web rules here and not necessarily Stampin' Up's rules. So the other piece that we communicated with you yesterday on September 12th, is that some demonstrators' websites are indexed or registered with Google, including the www, and we provided some steps to fix that. And while the steps were correct, we understand that the Google side of those steps might have been a little bit confusing. So I wanted to walk you through exactly what you need to do to get your DBWS registered with Google, and also make sure that if you previously had a DBWS registered with Google, that we get the proper URL registered as well. So what you're going to need to do is through your Google login, you'll need to go to the Google Search Console. And if you have already been there, you can just pull that right up. If not, just search for Google Search Console and log in, and it will show you in the top left corner all of the sites that you have access to. Now, I am going to show you how to add your DBWS website to the Google Search Console the proper way. But for those demonstrators that already have their DBWS registered, I wanted to show you quickly what that might look like. And I've got Paper Pumpkin added in here just so that I can show you. When I click the drop down here, you'll notice that I have paperpumpkin.com, and I also have www.paperpumpkin.com. You may have your domain, so like if we were talking about Stacy Stamper, you may have stacystamper.stampinup.net and www.stacystamper.net. If you have both, you simply need to go to the www version, click the settings link, and then remove the web property. Once you remove the property, the only thing left, let me go ahead and just show you what that looks like. The only thing left will be your stampinup.net website. Now, if you don't have a web property here, you've got two choices. You can not worry about adding it. You can, and Google will still find your site. It's totally optional. You just won't be able to come in here and see all of the different reports and things like that. If you want to add your website, it's really very simple. So what we're going to do is we're going to click Add Property. And it's going to give you two choices. Now, we are not looking to register all URLs across all subdomains. That's Stampin' Up's job to do that. So because you are subdomain owners of stampinup.net, we actually need you to do the URL prefix choice. And so you're going to highlight that box, and in here, you're going to paste your DBWS web address. So we're going to come back here to DBWS. We're going to copy your DBWS web address exactly how it's in the browser, and we're going to paste that in here. Now you'll notice that it includes HTTPS. That tells us that it's a secure website, and no www dot. So it's just stacystamper.stampinup.net. And then we're going to click Continue. Now it's going to verify this property, And because the property is brand new to Google Search Console, we need to verify that we own this domain. And there's a few different verification options. The first one that pops up is this HTML file. We actually don't want to use the HTML file, so you can click this little arrow and get that out of your way. What we want to use is the HTML tag. We want to add a meta tag to our site's homepage. So I'm going to click the little arrow here, and it's going to give me a bunch of code that I need to copy and some instructions on how to copy that. Now, we've made it a lot more simple for you to get this information into your website. So rather than copying this entire field, all we need to copy is the content between the quotation marks. So I'm going to put my cursor here and I'm going to copy everything between the content quotation mark. So I'm not going to include the first quotation mark and I'm not going to include the second quotation mark, just all of the characters in between. I'm going to go ahead and copy that to my clipboard, and then I'm going to go back to my DBWS. So I'm going to, if I'm not already logged in, I'm going to log into the demonstrator website. I'm going to go under Business Resources and I'm going to click Manage My DBWS. When DBWS pops up, I'm going to go to My Sites and I'm going to choose Edit. I'm going to choose Edit. Oh, I wonder if I timed out, you guys. I'm so sorry. Let's try this again. So we're going to go to Business Resources. We're going to go Manage My DBWS. We're going to click Edit. And then on this first tab, under the Site Settings tab, if I scroll down here, there's Google Site Verification Meta Tag. And again, this is optional. You don't have to do this. If this feels, after watching the video, if this feels a little over your head, please don't worry about going in and doing this. It's not a requirement. If it is something that you want to address, this is where you do it. And so I'm going to paste in the code that I copied. You'll notice that I don't have the quotation marks, just all of the characters in between. I'm going to come up and click Save. And then once I get the notice that the website has been updated, I'm going to go back to the Google Search Console and I'm going to click Verify. And just like that, my ownership is now verified. So I can now choose to go to the property. And you'll notice in my Google Search Console now, in the dropdown, I have stacystamper.stampinup.net with no www. So it's really quite simple. What this does is this tells Google that it's okay to go ahead and start indexing or getting a record of my website. And then any search results that relate to your website are going to come up and they're going to be displayed as stacystamper.stampinup.net and not with the www. So it's a really easy thing to fix once you kind of know the specific steps. I hope that wasn't too complicated. If you go back and watch the video again, you'll see all of the steps in order. And again, if you go into Google Search Console and you have a stampinup.net address that has www dot in front of it, remove that one and then add the website back in without the www and you'll be all set. All right. Well, I hope that helps you understand a little bit of what we've been up against with this www and site security issue. As you can see, it's a pretty easy fix. We do need some help from you and your customers, making sure that they're requesting the right website when they go into their browser. Again, just your site name .stampinup.net, no www, and they should be taken right to your website without any issues or security scares. All right, everybody, thank you so much for your time. It's a pleasure being with you. We look forward to hearing all the feedback and input you have for us as you get in and start using your DBWS a little bit more. Thanks, everybody. Talk to you soon.